be figured out as far as how it works, rather than just appreciating the results that it does work and kind of being like, oh wow, that's awesome, like kind of like, you know, a natural wonder and stuff like that. You know, it's all about figure out how it works and make it better, make it more efficient, you know, and that's what the Hatter is all about, you know. So that's why in the first game, the March Hare and the Dormouse were literally in pieces and were disassembled, but yet they were still alive, you know, and Alice talks to them and stuff in the first game. Now, you know, of course, what's happened here, Hatter already said it, inmates run the asylum, no offense to Alice because she was an inmate, but he's saying he's been overthrown and they took him apart and are using pieces of the Hatter's body to power the machines that they're using, that the Hatter, the Dormouse and the March Hare are using. The Dormouse and the March Hare were employees. You could think of it again in the industrial capitalistic sense. They were employees of the Hatter. They were his subordinates. You know, they rebelled and overthrew him and took over. And again, you know, you have echoes of that in the social changes that were taking place, you know, due to the Industrial Revolution. Remember, all of this Victorian England, that was long before labor unions or anything like that. I said go do some research on how, you know, children would work from, you know, 3 or 5 years old, and many people would die by the time they were 25. And when we say work, we're not talking 8-hour days. We're talking like 12, 13, 14, 16-hour days, you know, or even more. I mean, that was normal. And in not healthy conditions either. So, you know, you really have to understand the cost of so-called progress. You know, and who is it really progress for, and all that sort of thing. That's what all this is showing in a very brutal, you know, not sugar-fied way. You know, that this is the results. I mean, you know, and the people who were in charge, of course, were profiting on the backs and the deaths, the blood and deaths of those who were not. And you see some of that too if you watch the movie Newsies, which I mentioned earlier. Exactly the same kind of thing, even though the historical incident that Newsies is based on and is actually recounting, it happened at the turn of the 20th century. And yet, you know, here, this is Victorian England, you know, 50, 60, 70 years earlier, same thing. You know, nothing really changed over the generations. And we still, of course, have the same thing really happening today. You know, just in a different form, you know, different mechanics. There's been different laws, but, you know, you have a law passed. Even back then, there were laws. You can read, again, on some of those websites that I recommended. You can read some of the laws that were put in place to try to prevent abuse. But, you know, there's ways to get around the laws. There's always loopholes, or people would just ignore them. Or, you know, hey, let's go someplace where the law doesn't apply. That should sound familiar. You know, globalization. But anyway, I'm going to take a break here, and I hope that everybody comes back. And I'll see you later. Okay, everybody. So, hope everybody came back. Yeah, so we were over here in the getting ready to go into the Dormouse's domain. You know, a couple things that I realized. By the way, I would have uploaded more videos, but YouTube seems to be acting particularly weird for some reason and not uploading my videos. So who knows?
To enlightenment brighten the way, but the steps are steep. Take them one at a time.
I must say, this is kind of funny that the Dormouse isn't saying anything here. He's supposed to be. Anyway, YouTube's not letting me upload videos. It keeps crashing halfway through the upload, so yeah. But anyway, I was going to say that I noticed in going back through the videos a few things. For one thing, I apologize for the abrupt cutoffs on some things. I'm using Fraps to capture this. And yeah, it's all updated and all that, but you know, it dumps every about 4 gigabytes basically, and then I joined the files back together up to the 15-minute limit, roughly, or just under that, 14 minutes or so, you know, because of YouTube. So anyway, sometimes things don't end as well as I would like, and it's just way too much of a hassle to go back and edit things. Oh, there's the dormouse. I hear him. Another thing too is that I said before that I wasn't trying to make this like an exact walkthrough. So yeah, I know I missed at least one keyhole back there. Probably had a bottle in it or something. Oh well. Switch. Yeah, so our stuff goes up and down and up and down. We have to dodge our stupid stuff. Like I said, you'll probably start seeing more slowdown as I get farther into the foundry here, because there's just so much stuff going on.
Is a dead worker, and vice versa. Don't be a bad worker. Bad workers are slaves and dead. Payday for good workers has been postponed indefinitely. Payday for bad workers is cancelled.
So, anyway, oh, yeah. The Dormouse actually has some different lines there just before you fight the Menacing Ruin, which I already did. But it's like work till you expire, and you know, reward will be in heaven and stuff like that. Here you can see the sign, probably embrace industry, embrace efficiency. Your new leaders, of course, is the Dormouse and the March Hare. Yeah, and yeah, basically, you know, don't worry about the fact that you're dying. Anything for the sake of so-called progress. It's really arguable. But now, in here, this is a really good spot to show what I was talking about the physics. You can start seeing that there is quite a bit of particles floating around in the air, and it keeps getting worse and worse. So if you get slowdown in here, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. It was short of turning the physics off, which I don't want to do. Kind of defeats the purpose of showing the PC version if I turn the physics off. Oh, fun times. Now let's see. Oh, just a joy.